Are you loaded? Are you making loads of money doing something unethical? Do you have a reputation to clean up? Introducing art washing. Whether you're profiting off the destruction of the climate or making a killing by selling weapons to a rogue state, art washing can help you to clear your name. And all you have to do is spend a tiny fraction of your profits sponsoring some random art show, and you'll be transformed into a patron of the arts. Here at ArtWashing, we guarantee satisfaction. Former clients include British sugar merchant Henry Tate. Now, Henry Tate may or may not have benefited from the existence of the transatlantic slave trade, but thanks to ArtWashing, he's remembered today as the nice man who built all those art galleries. Businessman and former New York City Mayor, Michael Bloomberg. Now, Michael Bloomberg has two passions: contemporary art and supporting settler colonial states. But thanks to Michael Bloomberg's sponsorship of the New Contemporaries exhibition at the Institute of Contemporary Arts in London, Michael Bloomberg gets a pass on his support for the state of another happy customer, British Petroleum. Now, art washing may not be able to clean up the Gulf of Mexico, but we sure can clean up BP's reputation. BP sponsored the Tate galleries for 26 years, helping people to appreciate art and to forget all about the nasty business of climate change. But unfortunately, BP's sponsorship of the Tate galleries had to come to an end because of the actions of a few nasty protesters. But that didn't stop BP, because BP's also been sponsoring the British Museum since 1996. So take that, protesters. So next time you're a billionaire with unethical practices, try art washing and we'll turn you into a patron of the arts. Hello, and welcome back to Art Theories. You might be wondering, why am I dressed like Sherlock Holmes today? Well, that would be because I'm in detective mode this week as we explore a topic called art washing. Now, what even is art washing? Well, there's a lot of definitions, but I'm going to give you my personal definition. Art washing is when a powerful person or institution buys art or invests in art or patrons artists in order to cover up the harmful thing that they're doing, to virtue signal, to show that they are in fact a good person. There's loads of ways you can get rich being harmful, but the problem is, once you've got rich being harmful, how do you make people like you again? And the solution is very simple. You just buy some art, support some artists, and all of a sudden you become a patron of the arts, a respected title. Anyway, this is what we're diving deep into today, and as you can see, I've been diving very deep into this topic. Today we're going to be travelling all the way to London to explore various art washing hotspots, and I've even created an award. It's called the ArtWashing Award 2025, and this will be given to the gallery or the institution that has done the best or worst, depending on your perspective, art washing this year. I'm very excited to hand this to the winner. Now, the thing is, art washing, unfortunately, is nothing new. Rich and powerful people have always used art to make themselves look good. Think about the Renaissance. Think about all those incredible paintings and sculptures made by Da Vinci, Michelangelo. I actually don't know that many Renaissance artists, but you get the point. Anyway, those were all paid for by immensely wealthy and dodgy families like the Medicis and the Borgias. And do you think they paid for all that art out of the goodness of their heart, or do you think they had an ulterior motive? Let's skip forward to 1750. Here's a painting by Thomas Gainsborough called Mr. and Mrs. Andrews. Now, this painting depicts Mr. and Mrs. Andrews as proud, noble, honourable, on land that is rightfully theirs. What do you think the local peasants thought of Mr. Andrews? What do you think Mrs. Andrews thought of Mr. Andrews? I bet they hated him. I bet he was a horrible guy. But this painting shows how virtuous he is, how good he is. Anyway, time's gone on and art washing has only got worse and more sophisticated, and we're going to check that out today, so stick around. But art washing isn't just a theoretical idea that I can explore in the studio. It's an actual real thing that happens in the real world. So I jumped on a train to London to go explore some art washing hotspots for myself. I'm now standing outside what used to be the headquarters of the Zabludowicz collection. The Zabludowicz collection closed its doors in December 2023, shortly after the Izzies began their word that begins with G and rhymes with side. The Zabludowicz collection is run by Anita and Podju Zabludovic. Podju is the founder and Anita is the director. They have an absolutely massive collection of art, and they tend to collect artworks from young and upcoming artists. But since 2014, there's been an active boycott against this gallery. Now, I'm going to explain to you exactly why a boycott has been called against this gallery. But the ins and outs of that are a bit complicated, and I don't want to get it wrong. So we're going to go over to the studio so I can explain it better. So everything that I'm about to say has come straight off the Boycott Zabludowicz website, which will be linked below. The Zabludowicz Art Trust is connected to something called the Tamares Group, who historically have made their money by selling arms to the Izzy Air Force. Tamares has also invested in a company called Palantir, who use cyber security technology to assist the Izzies in the policing of the inhabitants of the country that they occupy. The Zabludowicz family are also the founders, funders, and former directors of BICOM, the Britain Izzy Communication and Research Centre. How do I say this? Lobbying. According to the Boycott Zabludowicz website, the Zabludowicz Art Trust uses art and culture to art wash the Izzy state's ongoing racism and violence against the inhabitants of the country they occupy. It is intimately connected to lobbying activities on behalf of the Izzy state and to a company providing services to the Izzy Air Force. The Zabludowicz brand weaponizes culture to legitimize and reinforce the Izzy policy of apartheid. If you'd like to know more about this, there's a really good article by the White Pube, which I highly recommend. That's the thumbnail. I'll link it below. The weird thing is, I spent my teenage years coming to this gallery. I didn't know any of this, and I just thought they had good exhibitions, so I came. But now I know. I'm definitely not going there now. The Zabludowicz claimed that they closed this gallery in order to focus on loans to institutions and increasing their digital presence. But I suspect that the boycott may have had something to do with their decision to shut down their London headquarters. And remember, the Zabludowicz tends to collect art from young and upcoming artists. So if you yourself are a young, trendy, upcoming artist, and the Zabludowicz slide into your DMs,
just say no.
No art washing tour of London would be complete without a visit to this building here. Currently called the Serpentine North Gallery, this used to be the Serpentine Sackler Gallery. That's because in 2013, the Serpentine took £5.5 million from the Sackler Foundation. Who are the Sackler Foundation, you may be wondering? Well, the Sackler Foundation are a pharmaceutical company largely responsible for starting the opioid crisis in the United States of America. Obviously, the gallery took quite a bit of criticism for making this connection and taking this bag. They took a lot of heat. The artist Hito Steyerl referred to the situation as being like the gallery is married to a serial killer, which I love. A shout out to Hito Steyerl. Anyway, in 2022, the gallery announced it had no future plans to take money from the Sackler Foundation, and the building was renamed to the Serpentine North. A big win for the art world. We're now going to take a quick pause on our art washing tour of London so that I can tell you a story. Let me take you back to April 2010. Just off the coast of Louisiana, BP's Deepwater Horizon rig was using high-risk techniques to extract oil from under the seabed. At approximately 7:45 p.m, the high-pressure methane gas ignited and an explosion ensued, unaliving 11 workers and creating a fireball so big it could be seen from 35 miles away. And thus began the largest oil spill in history, lasting 87 days in total and doing untold damage to the local ecosystems. The CEO, Tony Hayward, made the situation even worse when he complained to a journalist that he wanted his life back.
There's no one who wants this thing over more than I do. You know, I'd like my life back.
Crisis managers cringed when they heard that comment.
Criminal charges were brought against the company, BP's credit rating was downgraded, and British Petroleum was plunged into an existential PR crisis. Now at this point, BP had hit a fork in the road. They had two options. They could either take responsibility for all the damage that they'd caused, pay a huge amount of money, both compensating the people whose lives had been either lost or ruined, and pay even more money making sure that this would never happen again. Or they could launch an aggressive PR campaign to convince the public that BP had changed. They were actually really good people. They were trying really hard to clean up this unpredictable, random crisis that no one could have seen coming, and that they are, in fact, a caring, socially responsible company. Now, we all know which option BP went with. In fact, they'd already been doing option 2 for years, and their main weapon in this aggressive PR campaign was sponsorship of the arts. BP was already sponsoring a number of arts institutions at this time, including, but not limited to, the Tate, the British Museum, the Royal Opera House, the National Portrait Gallery, the Royal Shakespeare Company, and the National Maritime Museum. And through their sponsorship of the arts, British Petroleum was able to leverage the art world's special publics into defending them and helping them to weather their PR storm. Now, what is special publics? It's another PR term. It basically means individuals with power and influence, individuals who are able to shape public opinion in some way. And as it turns out, the art world is full of special publics, opinion setters. Let me give you a couple of examples. Shortly after the BP Deepwater Horizon crisis began, Tate's director at the time, Nicholas Sirota, said the following: "We recognise that BP have a temporary difficulty at the moment, but you don't abandon your friends because they have what we consider to be a temporary difficulty." That shows me that's like solidarity, that's class solidarity between Nicholas Sirota and the people at BP. But he wasn't the only one. When being asked his opinion on whether it was appropriate for BP to be sponsoring an art exhibition, artist and Turner Prize winner Grayson Perry said the following: "I don't think that when people come out of an exhibition, they think, oh, whoa, I'm going to buy BP petrol now." Just want to say a quick thank you to Grayson Perry for that sarcasm. We all needed it. Thank you. These are just two examples of highly influential members of the art world coming out in defence of British Petroleum during their time of need. And that's exactly what BP was paying for. They were paying for that solidarity across the board between big oil and the arts.
And finally, I've come here to the Institute of Contemporary Arts, London. Now, long-time Art Theories viewers will remember that I love the Institute of Contemporary Arts. I called it my favourite gallery back in 2023. And I worked in the cafe and bar of the ICA in 2018, and I've even got the staff card to prove it. However, the Institute of Contemporary Arts has got itself into some hot water recently with its new exhibition, the Bloomberg New Contemporaries 2025. The Bloomberg New Contemporaries is an exhibition designed to showcase the best and brightest young artists of the UK. And that's all well and good. But activists were quick to point out that Bloomberg New Contemporaries, oh my God, there's a whole school trip walking past watching me, at casual. Bloomberg New Contemporary activists were quick to point out but Bloomberg New Contemporaries supports various initiatives on stolen land. All this culminated on the 15th of January when a separate organisation called the Gaza Biennale set up a parallel exhibition right here. I'm going to play you a couple of clips, and I can't believe how much I'm cringing. There's a whole French school trip behind me. Anyway, I have called the police, and they are here to arrest the director. All right, cut.
Solidarity with our colleagues in Gaza, we demand that the board and the directors of New Contemporaries and the ICA review their financial ties and take urgent action to end their relationship with Bloomberg. And any other funders lending material support to war crimes. For 50 years, New Contemporaries was not only possible but successful without the fiscal backing of Bloomberg philanthropies. A world of artistic and cultural production that does not artwash genocide is possible.
I'd spent a whole day investigating art washing in London, but the truth is that the most flagrant and glaringly obvious case of art washing was happening where I live, in the town of Margate. Margate is a nice seaside town, about an hour and a half away from London. It's being rapidly gentrified, and I reckon it has the most artists per capita of any town in the UK. It's also home to Kent's biggest, and arguably most controversial art gallery, the Turner Contemporary. I made a couple of videos about the Turner Contemporary last year, but in case you missed those, let me give you a rundown. In January of 2024, an open letter was written to the Turner, asking them to make a statement in support of the Palestinian people and to call for a ceasefire. The letter was signed by over 300 artists and cultural workers. The Turner Contemporary chose to ignore the open letter. Then, artists, activists, and members of the local community started protesting outside the gallery. The Turner ignored the protests. Then, activists started to stage sit-ins inside the gallery, with the simple demand that the Turner at least acknowledge their demands. The Turner ignored the sit-ins. This was made extra confusing by the fact that the Turner put out a very strong statement of solidarity with Ukraine back in 2022, and now, suddenly, very out of the blue, the Turner Contemporary has decided to put on an exhibition titled Resistance, a history of radical protest. I took a trip down to the Turner Contemporary to have a look at their new exhibition. It was curated by Steve McQueen, who I have a lot of respect for, and the pictures themselves are incredible. It didn't sit right with me. It didn't sit right with me that an art gallery who had refused to even acknowledge the protest movement that was directed against it had the audacity to host an exhibition titled Resistance that celebrates protest. Something felt a bit wrong. Hey guys, today is the 22nd of February. It is the opening day of the Turner Contemporary's new exhibition, Resistance, History of Protest and Photography. Anyway, I've had a little tip-off that there might be a protest happening at 12 o'clock in the gallery. So I'm going to go down, plain closed, not Sherlock Holmes, don't want to arouse suspicion, and I'm just going to try and be in the space, filming when the protest kicks off. So wish me luck.
What is going on here?
The protesters did a good job standing their ground in what I can only describe as quite a hostile environment to be protesting in. The gallery even called the cops, and the irony was lost on no one that the Turner Contemporary had called the police on protesters at the opening of their exhibition, which was called Resistance and celebrated the history of protest. You literally couldn't write this stuff.
So that concludes our art washing tour of the UK. But it's not over just yet, because we still need to hand out the ArtWashing Award 2025. And there's no prizes for guessing who wins this award. Now, you might be wondering, why has the Turner Contemporary won this award? Who's doing the art washing? Well, let me explain. The Turner Contemporary is a big gallery whose reputation's taken a real hit. And they've decided to use this exhibition, the Resistance exhibition, in order to wash their own reputation. This is art washing squared. This is art washing, meta art washing is taking place here. And so they deservedly win this award. We're going to go up to the admin room and hopefully I can hand this to someone who holds a little bit of power within this institution. So I think it's just down the corridor here. And I don't know, I'm guessing.
Hello.
Hiya, I was wondering if I could speak to a representative of the gallery.
I'm a representative.
Okay, well, I'm with Art Theories. It's a YouTube channel. I've been doing a big documentary exploring art washing across the UK, and I'm really proud to announce that the Turner Contemporary has won the ArtWashing Award 2025. If I give this to you, can you hand it to the director for me?
I'm a director.
You're the director? Oh,
I am a director.
congratulations. This is for you.
I'm not interested in it.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a great day.
There's not much background to it. You're going to tell me.
Yeah, so I've made a big documentary. I've been going across the UK looking at different art washing hotspots. We visited the Zabludowicz collection. We visited the Serpentine Gallery. We visited the ICA, who are doing their work with Bloomberg New Contemporaries. And I have to say, this is the most diabolical case of art washing I've seen in 2025. If you don't want the trophy, that's fine. I can keep it. But just know that you've won the award.
In fact, I can call and start using us because this exhibition has been planned for like 5 years.
Okay, cool. What do you think of the Turner Contemporary's decision to put on this exhibition but to not address the protest movement that's taking place within the gallery and against the gallery over the last year and a half? Hi, I've got an award for you guys. Yeah, so I'm with Art Theories. We're making a YouTube video all about art washing in the UK. You guys have won this award. If you have anything to say for yourself, we'd love to hear it.
I don't really understand.
Okay. Can you ask them to like and subscribe?
Sorry?
Can you say like and subscribe?
Can you be funny?
Okay. Thank you so much, guys. All right, that's a wrap. Have a great day.